Okay, so for weeding, once you get your beds uncovered, you're basically gonna go bed by bed and use a lot of context clues for weeding. So typically we plant our seedlings. These are collards and these are bell peppers, for example. But our seedlings are typically planted in the middle of the bed and are like pretty much equally spaced apart, and look pretty uniform, like you can see in this bed. These are like our main plants, and so want to make sure that when you're deciding whether or not something is a weed, seeing if it looks similar to the seedlings and other plants that are in the bed, and if it doesn't, that means it's probably going to come out. So that's seedlings. And another thing to look out for is we typically plant our seeds, which are these bad boys here that have grown up. We got a bunch of like radishes and turnips, I believe. Yeah, these are radishes. And so again, like typically on the edges of the bed, we're gonna leave that alone, unless you can see something that definitely doesn't look like the seedlings. Sometimes it can be tricky because we'll find like something like this that doesn't look like the rest of the seedlings that are supposed to be in the middle of the bed, but you can see like down below, like this is a radish, and if you look at the leaves and at the little red bulb, you can see here they look very, very similar, and so you can assume that those are the same thing and leave that in. However, for more general weeding, we're looking for guys like this. I do not at this point have the knowledge of like exactly which weeds all of these are called, but you can see that this plant does not look like this plant or this plant or this plant, and it's also kind of in an awkward spot. It's not where one of the seedlings should be as far as how its spacing is in the rest of the bed, and it doesn't look like a seedling, and it's not planted on the edge of the bed on the long end. So we can go ahead and assume that that is a weed. And basically how you remove that weed is you're gonna grab it at the base of the soil and really like get in there and pull it up. Sometimes you gotta like move it around to loosen up the roots a bit. And all right, there you go. So here's another example of one that this guy doesn't look like that or that. It's not really in proper spacing and it's not on the edge. So we're gonna take this guy out as well. And as long as you're seeing like the roots come out with the plant, then that means you've gotten it. If we leave the roots in from weeds, there's a pretty good chance that it'll regrow and then it'll be the same problem. So yeah, just trying to make sure that you're not just like breaking it off at the stem, but rather getting it at the roots.